Norma constellation is a small constellation in southern celestial hemisphere between Ara and Lupus. It is one of the 12 blown up in 18th century by French astronomer Nicolas Louis Delcaille, and one of several depicting scientific instruments. Its name is Latin for normal, referring to a right angle, and this bar is considered to represent a rule. A carpenter's square, a set square, or a level. It remains one of the 88 constellations. Monoceros constellation is a faint constellation on the celestial equator. Its definition attributes to 17th century by Dutch cartographer Petrus Plancius. It is bordered by Orion to the west, Gemini to the north, Canis Major to the south, and Hydra to the east. Monoceros contains one major object, M50. It is an open cluster of about 200 stars. In addition, this constellation contains a large number of fascinating deep sky objects. The Rosette Nebula is an emission nebula known for its beautiful colors and patterns. Musca is a small constellation in deep southern sky. It was one of 12 constellations created by Petrus Plancius from the observation of Peter Dirksen Kaiser and Frederick de Houtman, and it first appeared on Celestial Globe 35 cm in diameter, published in 1597 in Amsterdam by Plancius and Jodocus Hondius. Musca was short named by Abbe Nicolas Louis Delcaille. In fact, this constellation has a long history of various names. It was first named Apis, the bee, by Johann Bayer in 1603. Edmund Halley of Halley's Comet fame renamed Musca, the flying bee.
Reticulum. Reticulum is a small faint constellation in the southern sky. Its name is Latin for a small net or reticle, a net of crosshairs at the focus of telescope eyepiece that is used to measure star positions. Sagitta. Sagitta is a dim but distinctive constellation in the northern sky. Its name is Latin for arrow not to be confused with a significantly larger constellation, Sagittarius the Archer. Sagittarius. Sagittarius is one of the constellations of the zodiac and is located in the southern celestial hemisphere. It is listed as one of the 48 constellations. Its name for Latin is Archer. Triangulum Austrae is a small constellation in the far southern celestial hemisphere. Its name is Latin for the southern triangle. Tucana is a constellation of stars in the southern sky, named after the toucan, a South American bird. It is one of the 12 constellations conceived in the late 16th century by Petrus Plancius. Ursa Major. Ursa Major is a constellation in the northern sky whose associated mythology dates back into prehistory. Ursa Minor. Ursa Minor, also known as the Little Bear, is a constellation in the northern sky. As with the Great Bear, the tail of the Little Bear may also be seen as the handle of a ladle, hence the North American name Little Dipper. Vela. Vela is a constellation in the southern sky, which contains the Vela supercluster. Its name for Latin is for the sails of a ship. Virgo. Virgo is one of the constellations of the zodiac. Its name is Latin for maiden, and its old astronomical symbol is. It's lying between Leo to the west and Libra to the east. It is the second largest constellation in the sky and the largest constellation in the zodiac. Volans is a constellation in the southern sky. It represents a flying fish. Its name is a shortened form of its original name, Physis volans. Vulpecula. Vulpecula is a faint constellation in the northern sky. Its name is Latin for little fox, although it is commonly known simply as the fox.
Phoenix is a minor constellation in the southern sky, named after the mythical phoenix. It was first depicted in a celestial atlas by Johann Bayer in 1603 Uranometria. The French explorer and astronomer Nicolas Louis de la Caille charted the brightest stars and gave their burial destinations in 1756. Pictor is a southern celestial hemisphere constellation. Pictor lies south of the ecliptic, which is different to the celestial equator. The celestial equator is a projection of the terrestrial equator into space. Pisces constellation lies in the northern sky. It means the fish, in Latin. Pisces is one of the largest constellations in the sky. It lies between Aries constellation to the east and Aquarius to the west. Pisces is the 14th constellation in size, occupying an area of 889 square degrees. Pisces belongs to the zodiac family of constellations, along with Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and Aquarius.
Piscis Osnus is a constellation in the southern celestial hemisphere, and the name is Latin for the southern fish, in contrast with a larger constellation Pisces, which represents a pair of fishes. For the 20th century, it was also known as Piscis Notius. Puppis is a constellation in the northern sky. Puppis, the Pope type, was originally part of an overlarge constellation of Argo Navis, which centuries after its initial description was divided into three parts, the other two being Carina and Vela. Puppis is the largest of the three constellations in square degrees. Puppis is a constellation in the northern sky. Puppis, the name of its Latin is the ship or the poop of the ship, and constellation was originally part of an overlarge constellation of Argo Navis. Argo Navis was divided into three constellations. Those three constellations are the Puppis, Carina, and Vela, and among those three, the Puppis is one of the largest constellations in square degrees. Pyxis is a small and vague constellation in the southern sky, abbreviated from Pyxis Nautica. Its name is Latin for a mariner's compass. Pyxis was introduced by Nicolas Louis de la Caille in the 18th century. Scorpius is one of the constellations of the zodiac and is located in the southern celestial hemisphere. It is an ancient constellation that predates the Greeks. Sculptor is a small and faint constellation in the southern sky. It represents a sculptor. It was introduced by Nicolas Louis de la Caille in the 18th century. He originally named it Apparatus Sculptorus, but the name was later shortened. Scutum is a small constellation. Its name is Latin for shield, and it was originally called Scutum Sebastianum by Johannes Hevelius in 1684. Serpens is a constellation in the northern celestial hemisphere. In Greek mythology, Serpens represents a snake held by the hair Asclepius. Sextans is a minor equatorial constellation which was introduced in 1687 by Johannes Hevelius. Its name is Latin for the astronomical sextant, an instrument that Hevelius made frequent use of in his observation. Taurus is one of the constellations of the zodiac and is located in the northern celestial hemisphere. Taurus is a large and prominent constellation in the northern hemisphere winter sky. Telescopium is the minor constellation in the southern celestial hemisphere, one of 12 named in the 18th century by French astronomer Nicolas Louis de la Caille, and one of several depicting scientific instruments. Its name is Latinized from the Greek word for telescope. Triangulum is a small constellation in the northern sky. Its name is Latin for triangle, derived from its three brightest stars, which form a long and narrow triangle.
Aquarius, Latin, water bearer. In astrology, zodiacal constellation lying in the southern sky between Capricornus and Pisces. At about 22 hours right ascension and 10 degrees south declination, it lacks striking features. The brightest star, Sadel Malik, Arabic for the lucky stars of the king, is the 11th astrological sign in the zodiac. Aquila is a constellation on the celestial equator. Its name is Latin for eagle, and it represents the bird that carried Zeus or Jupiter's thunderbolt in Greek Roman mythology. Its brightest star, Altair, is the vertex of the summer triangle asterism. Ara is a small constellation located in the southern sky. Its name means the altar in Latin. The constellation represents the altar used by Zeus and the other Greek gods to swear a vow of allegiance before they went to war against Cronus and the Titans.
Corona Berenices, an ancient asterism in the northern sky. which has been defined as one of the 88 modern constellations. It is in the direction of the fourth galactic quadrant. Corona Australis, a constellation in the southern celestial hemisphere. Its Latin name means southern crown, and it is the southern counterpart of Corona Borealis, the northern crown. Corona Borealis, it is one of the 48 constellations listed by the 2nd century astronomer Ptolemy and remains one of the 88 modern constellations. It's the brightest stars formed as a circular arc. Its Latin name, inspired by its shape, means northern crown.
Chameleon, constellation in southern sky at about 11 hours right ascension and 80 degrees south in declination. Its brightest star is Alpha Chameleontis with a latitude of 4. With constellation was invented by Pieter Dirks Keyser, a navigator who joined in first Dutch expedition to the East Indies in 1595, and who added 12 new constellations in southern sky. It is named after the chameleon, the lizard that can change its skin color to blend in with its surroundings. Circinus. Circinus is a small faint constellation in southern sky, first defined in 1756 by French astronomer Nicolas Louis de Lacaille. Its name is Latin for compass, referring to the drafting tool used for drawing circles. It should not be confused with Pisces, a constellation that represents a mariner's compass, which points north. Its brightest star is Alpha Circini, with an apparent magnitude of 3.19. Slightly variable, it is the brightest, rapidly oscillating epistar in the night sky. Columba. Columba is a faint constellation designated in the late 16th centuries, remaining in official use. With its rigid limits set in 20th century, its name is Latin for dove. It takes up 1.31% of southern celestial hemisphere and is south of Canis Major and Lepus.
Leo is a large equatorial constellation which represents a lion. It appears highest in the midnight sky in the months around February. Its brightest star, Regulus, lies very close to the ecliptic, the path that the sun traces across the sky each year. Leo Minor represents a lion cub that was thought up and invented in the 17th century by Polish astronomer Johannes Hevelius. Leo Minor sits between constellations Ursa Major and Leo. The constellation can be easily missed as it's quite small compared to the surrounding constellations. Lepus, the constellation's name, means the hare in Latin. Lepus is not associated with any particular myth, but is sometimes depicted as a hare being chased by a mythical hunter Orion or by his hunting dogs, represented by constellations Canis Major and Canis Minor.